Have you ever walked into a gym that made you feel small? That was me a year ago. I joined a gym where serious lifters trained before sunrise, and I was the kind of person who looked confident on the outside but felt completely lost inside. The truth is, I almost turned around and went home on my first day. At least I showed up, though. That matters. There was a coach who noticed everything. He was not the loud type who screamed at people for fun. He was the kind of trainer who spoke quietly, but in a way that made you listen. When he saw me standing near the squat rack, which looked much bigger than it really was, he smiled and said, "First of all, relax. Not every strong person in this room started strong." Honestly, I needed to hear that. I really thought getting in shape would be simple. I had watched workout videos all the time, and I used to tell myself that I understood fitness. But it's a lot harder when you are the one who has to lift the weight, control your breathing, and come back the next day. The reason why I had failed before is because I was chasing motivation instead of building discipline. I always wanted the perfect plan, the perfect playlist, and the perfect mood. My coach, who had probably heard every excuse in the world, told me something that stayed with me. I'm not saying that motivation is useless, but it's unreliable. If you depend on it, you'll quit to the point where even small progress feels impossible. That didn't mean I was weak. It meant my habits were weak. Because of that conversation, I changed the way I trained. I stopped worrying about looking impressive and started focusing on simple things that actually worked. I prepared my meals the night before, went to bed earlier, and followed a basic routine that repeated the same movements week after week. Anyway, boring is often effective. Months passed, and something changed. There was a mirror in the free weight area that I used to avoid. One morning, after finishing a workout that included rows, push-ups, and squats, I looked at myself and noticed that my body had changed. My shoulders were broader, my posture was better. I looked like someone who could be trusted with hard things. That was the moment when I understood a deeper lesson. Not every workout is exciting. Some sessions feel heavy, awkward, and slow. Sometimes I don't know what to do with my doubts, especially on days when progress feels invisible. On those days, I ask myself, what if I keep going? What if the result I want is being built by the ordinary days that do not feel special at all? It doesn't make any sense to me now that I once believed success had to feel dramatic. I've seen it firsthand. Real change usually comes from repetition, not from excitement. One older member who had been training for years once sat next to me after a brutal leg day and said, "You can never go wrong with the basics." He was right. Of course, not everything in life is simple, but some things are. Sleep well, eat better, lift with good form, show up again. It ends up being less about the body and more about the person you become. At the very least, the gym can teach you that you are capable of more than you thought. And if you are someone who feels intimidated by people who look stronger, faster, or more experienced, remember this. You can still start small and still become strong. I guess that's the real lesson. You do not need to be the strongest person in the room. You just need to be the person who comes back.